Hey, welcome back. Dmitry here, game developer and composer, and today I wanted to talk about how I made an ultra-casual mobile game in 6 months, using Unity completely solo and with a budget of exactly $0. Yes, this was my first real game development project outside of a game jam, and it was a very huge learning experience for me, technically, creatively, and mentally. So yeah, let's get into it. Oh, and by the way, I'm still working on Look Through the Code, the first game that I will release on Steam. So if you could wishlist, it would be very helpful for me. But now let's go on with the video. Okay, so let's talk about the idea and the scope of the game. From the very beginning, my project goal was very clear. I wanted to make something original, something that I personally hadn't seen before, but at the same time it had to be simple. Simple enough that I can finish the project on my own. No complex mechanics, no story, no stress, just something satisfying to watch and play. So the core idea ended up being this. You control a ball across floating platforms by swiping. To keep going, you have to land on the platforms, but there's a catch. You can only swipe 3 times in a row. If you swipe too often without touching a platform, you fall and you have to start over. That simple limitation completely defines the gameplay. It adds tension and it forces you to think ahead, and also it is easy to understand but hard to master. I also spent a lot of time playing around with the physics. I wanted it to feel smooth and genuinely satisfying. In an ultra-casual game like this, the mechanic is the game. So if it doesn't feel good, nothing else really matters. And honestly, I think I managed to get that right. The control feels clean, it's very natural, and controlling the ball is actually quite enjoyable. Yeah, so let's talk about the development. I used Unity for the entire project, and honestly, the big part in development was not just building the game, but it was also learning along the way. The biggest challenge for me was input, because I had to learn the new input system since the game is mobile-based and uses touch inputs. At first, I had to find out what the actual interactions are. For example, what is actually the difference between a swipe and a tap, and where do you draw the line? And on top of that, I had to convert from a 2D input into a 3D force, and I had to tweak the parameters so it feels smooth. Another major challenge was the level system. Since the game is endless, the platforms don't come pre-built, but they use a system in which they appear. And the goal was that each run feels a little bit different, but also is very readable and gets increasingly harder. Towards the end, I had to play around with the UI and find a clean look because everything was made from scratch. I didn't use any assets, so I had to find a good visual design so it fits the game. And when I finished the core game loop, I finally could compose some music and add sounds to the game, which is a big part of what I enjoy as a game dev and composer. So, game is done, but what now? Originally the plan was to publish it on the Play Store and App Store, but it turned out to be very difficult. After going back and forth with the publishing stores, I had to realize something very important. Publishing a game on the Play Store or App Store is extremely difficult if you're not a big company with a great budget. And it's not about the fees. It looks like the fees are relatively small, but constant changes, approvals, and rejections are so exhausting as a solo developer. So after a lot of thinking, I decided not to publish it on the mobile stores. So instead, I released it on itch.io. It is very accessible. It's you don't have to go through endless hoops. And for this project, it just made more sense. So yeah, you can play the game for free directly inside a browser. And I also want to make a point about my philosophy as an artist. I really wanted to make sure that this game has no ads, no annoying pop-ups, no paywalls, and no microtransactions. And the only thing that this game contains is a small link to my website. That's it. I wanted to keep it clean, respectful, and enjoyable. And as a little side note, the game is perfect for background footage for any kinds of videos. And I want to be really clear with this. You are allowed to use this game as background footage for your videos, and you don't have to give me any credits. This is my gift to you. But of course, if you want, optionally, you can link to my website. To sum up the video, let's talk about what I learned. Finishing a project is really hard, and polishing and distributing takes way longer than expected. But most importantly, I proved to myself that I can finish a full game on my own. So yes, if you want to try the game, the link is in the description. If you're a developer or just have some thoughts that you want to share, please put them down in the comments below. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I see you in the next one.